This is Terry Freeman.
Jim Strickland.
Dorsey Hobson.
I'm DeAndre Brown.
Melissa Haushalter.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics Show.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics.
Y'all better keep listening.
Funky Politics, part of the Katsukian Network.
Get funky with it. Get funky with it. Get funky with it. Get funky with it.
You are listening to Funky Politics, powered by the Katsukian Network. You got your guy here, Doc Ward. Doc, what's up?
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, sometimes I thought I'd introduce you like that.
No problem.
Got your boy here, DC.
I know you're excited.
I'm excited because we've got a wonderful guest in the studio this afternoon. Wendi Thomas, independent journalist, but she has been known to be a great...
To be funky.
Well, I wasn't going to say she was funky.
Man. Wendi Thomas is funky.
Is she funky?
Very.
Well, hey. Wendi, welcome to our program, Wendi Thomas.
It is a pleasure and delight to be in your presence.
Oh, wow. It's a pleasure.
That sound good?
Yes, it's a pleasure to have this funky phenom here.
Can we have her back again? I like when somebody says it's a pleasure to be in your presence.
I don't make the production calls.
You don't? Okay, whatever. Well, let's get right into it. Wendi, everybody knows that you are a former, not kid reporter, but she was a former editorial columnist for the Commercial Appeal.
Columnist.
Out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Picture in the paper and everything.
Yep. Had the nice little photograph there. And oftentimes you wrangle some feathers, not only on the right, but you wrangle them on the left as well. But now that you're doing this independent journalism kind of lifestyle deal.
Doesn't it feel great?
Feel good to be independent? Does it feel good to be independent? Does
Nothing like independent journalism.
It's freedom.
Right.
Freedom always feels good.
And freedom to be funky.
Oh, my God. It's freedom.
And to be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to always get it right.
There you go.
Well, you're working on a project right now. Tell us a little bit about the project you're working on now and where you're going to be here maybe this time next year in terms of with this particular project.
Right.
Okay. So right now I am working on a year-long reporting project called MLK 50, Justice Through Journalism. So it's timed to the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination.
Wow.
And it's going to be a look at economic justice. So, like, we're real big on King, Dr. King, and the racial justice part, and we just completely overlook the economic justice end of his dream and mission. So I want to try to re-engage the community with that.
Which was actually the last bastion, the last step, the last campaign right before he was assassinated.
Right.
That's where he was going, and probably the reason why he was assassinated.
I wasn't gonna go there, but since
we go there. This is
wow! Well, now we don't want you to give out any of these neat details.
We'll take a step. Come on, I'll take you with me. You come on.
Okay.
You just come on down.
All right.
Oh my gosh!
But so Memphis is the poorest, second poorest large metro in the nation, right? And so in the
who's the poorest?
I think it's. I want to say Tucson. It's somewhere out west.
Okay.
Wow.
Or Stockton, California, or something.
And to me, to have that dubious distinction in the city where King died on a mission for workers,
economic
public
justice.
workers, economic justice,
Right.
unconscionable.
Yes,
And so I want to think about what would we need to do differently, right, if we wanted to shed that distinction. And I think we need to talk about Black businesses, Black empowerment, who holds the power and influence in Memphis? Are they acting in the best interest of the majority of the citizens? I think it's looking at pilots and minority contracting with municipalities here. It's going to be online. It's going to be stories. It's going to be photos. It's going to be videos. Definitely want to hear from the community about what questions they want answered about why Memphis is the way it is and how we would need to go about making it different.
You are listening to Funky Politics, and in our studio this evening, we've got Wendi Thomas, independent journalist, and she is undertaking a major project.
Phenomenal woman.
Yeah, well, she's a phenomenal woman.
Phenomenal woman.
Oh,
that's actually the big.
Now that's what you. That's gonna be your news. Are you phenomenal woman?
Get it right.
Well, I can never do that.
No, you can't do this with low energy now.
Oh gosh.
Phenomenal woman. But I want to ask you this. Since you're talking about Martin Luther King and we're looking at a lot of things that are going on in Memphis, Tennessee as the second poorest city in the nation and where we are in the economic struggle. If Martin Luther King were alive today, looking at things that were going on that were impeding the progress of those, particularly African Americans who probably represent most of what is the
Right.
downside of the economy here. How much of this do you think he would be fighting for others to include African Americans, which seems to be the diversity argument, versus talking to the community itself, who seemingly has not really done a lot from within, and saying, hey, I'm all for diversity, but
Right.
but the culture itself must strengthen itself first
Right. Well, if
before we just accept what someone is allowing you to be in, and percentage goals and all of those things. That's not going to get you rich. Empowering yourself is going to be rich. Where would he be on that, do you think,
so if you
from your
read the
research?
text of his last speech, he talked specifically about boycotting white-owned businesses that weren't employing black workers. And he also talked about taking your money out of whatever bank it was in and putting
Right.
it in Tri-State, right? So
Right.
that was a big part of his message, and something I think we probably strayed
He said
away
Tri-State Bank, actually, or was he saying black banks?
He
I'm
actually
asking 'cause I know he was in Memphis.
He actually
He named
named,
Tri-State.
he named,
He named Tri-State.
he named
yeah.
Tri-State.
He named Tri-State
He named
Bank.
Tri-State.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I've learned a new word.
Yeah.
Right, and so if you
I've
even
made
think
a new
about
word.
you can think about where Tri-State is today,
Wow. Right.
right? You know,
Right. And they just had a bankathon maybe about a couple of months ago that we amongst other people promoted, and they were able to raise about
I think it was $1.5 million.
$1.5 million.
Yeah.
But why they have to do that? You know what I mean?
right?
And
right.
if you look at the number of African Americans here, even though $1 million is not, it sounds a nice number, but I think we broke it down that if every African American that was say over 18 working gave like $10 or $100,
Right.
that could have been like 30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he would definitely support and encourage us to support our own businesses, not to the exclusion of wanting to be part of the larger community.
Sure.
But that would definitely be something he would stress. And so how can we re-engage with that and make that a priority in this majority black community?
Right.
You're listening to Funky Politics, powered by the Kazuki Network. We're visiting with Wendi Thomas, independent journalist and journalistic guru. And what I remember about Dr. King and a lot of things that he did, and of course I was young, but what I've read over the years, is this war on poverty. And we talk today in our vast number of communities about poverty, how the school districts are this or crime is this, but we always tag it to poverty. I don't necessarily believe that poverty is the reason why Ray Ray and Boo Boo just shot at each other. That's not poverty to me, So
what's the
so if he would it
I
could
would
be,
disagree.
it could be
What's the
hatred.
reason?
Hold on, let me finish. It could be self-hatred. And I'm
Driven
gonna tell
by
you,
what?
well, it's not
Because of
Well,
what?
because I was in a club and we were clubbing together, and I shot him because I don't like him, and because that's got something to do with poverty. No, Dr. King wasn't fighting for that kind of thing. I think the true meaning of what he was fighting for in terms of economic justice and poverty was, how do we move our people up from that thinking?
And why was it important to move people out of poverty? Because when you move out of poverty, your range of opportunity and your range of alternatives changes. Because now, if not for the simple fact that you now have something more to lose, but also because you're exposed to more alternatives and you settle things differently. So absolutely, it's about poverty. Remember, we said
really?
this all the time.
But really, you believe that?
Well, you're on these shows, but you don't listen to them because we established a long time ago.
No,
that
you
poverty-
established a
we-
long
and you
time ago.
said,
I didn't believe that
okay, we're
crap.
gonna roll it back like you
I
did.
didn't believe that
like you
crap.
did with
I'm sorry,
Commissioner
I didn't
Mulroy.
believe it.
We're gonna
Time
roll
out.
it back. We said
We
poverty.
do this all the
We
time.
said poverty was more than just financial.
No, it
was
is that.
social. It was religious. It was physical.
But when I have a disagreement,
everything.
is it necessarily poverty though?
Is it? If your thought processes could be impoverished, when your alternative to someone a dispute is to take arms and shoot someone and end their life, and not just end their life, but then end yours as well, because you will be caught up in the system,
Sure.
you will be prosecuted,
Yeah.
you will be incarcerated.
Yeah.
If your range of alternatives is to go straight to that button, the nuclear option, then you are impoverished of any level of understanding of
I
how to
see.
deal on a social level.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Okay.
So I hear what you're saying about Pookie and Ray Ray, which
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there because that's
No,
just so.
well, they're my
Why they
cousins.
got to be
Jesus.
Pookie?
Well, they're my cousins.
Right?
I got a cousin named Pookie, and I got a cousin named Ray Ray. Or
okay.
should I say Beth and Joan?
They could
I
be
mean,
Raymond and Percy.
Well, that's what he
Right,
calls them.
could be.
His name is Percy.
I think the first thing that you do is you stop calling them Pookie and Ray Ray. Call them by their God-given names, and they can probably start
Percy-
responding different.
Percy Judd.
Or Percival.
Oh God.
Aloysius.
No, please.
So I
please.
think we can focus energy on changing the individual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And so I think that's kind of what you're speaking to, or I think we can focus on changing systems. I personally am not interested in going and shaking my finger at Pookie, right?
Yeah.
I want to change the entire system that
Right.
that puts Pookie in position where that's where he thinks is his best option. And if you look at the brain research on scarcity and how scarcity affects your bandwidth to make good decisions, I think you might feel a little differently about the role that poverty plays in violence.
Right.
So basically, she's saying my bandwidth is
It may
narrow.
be a
Yeah.
little tight.
Your brain is like AM radio. No, your brain is like ham radio.
Oh, do they even use ham radio anymore?
That's my point.
But hold on, no.
walkie-talkies.
Getting back to the economic point of view that you were making about the project that you're working on. How do we tie that, the upward mobility of a people, and how do we convince systems like a government, a state or a local government, that it is in your best interest to expand the playing field with we don't even use it. Black
I don't
folk.
like to use it.
Black
Thank you.
folk.
Black
Right.
folk. How do we convince a system that reports that they've only done 6% of any types of contracting with all public dollars with black folk? How do you convince a system like that to turn from their wicked ways to do something that's better?
But it's a system full of black leaders, though.
Well,
Yeah, and that's right. We've had black leaders in a
So why
lot
do
of
they
these
need to
major
be
cities,
convinced?
especially in the South.
so I would not confuse political office with power and
Sure.
influence. I wouldn't
Sure.
confuse political power with
I got you. That
office with
makes sense.
influence. So
That makes sense.
those are not the people who are pulling the strings, I don't think, or kind of making, I won't say even making deals, but just making things happen that we're not privy to, that aren't going to happen in a city
Right.
council meeting.
Right.
I think it's interesting when you think about municipal contracting, right? So Daryl Cobbins, Ron Red Wing, some other folk had a press conference down at the Civil Rights Museum
That was some time ago.
Yeah, a
That's
couple years
years
ago,
ago, yeah.
to talk about minority contracting specifically. It was in direct response to something I'd written at the paper about how shameful it was that, to use Henry Brooks' words, that black people were basically financing their own discrimination, right. When they were paying taxes to a county that then wasn't hiring black businesses.
Sure.
So Daryl and them had this nice press conference in their suits, polite, right?
Yeah.
Got nowhere. These folk went out there and shut down this bridge,
Wow.
right? And then it comes up at, was it Pastor Atkins?
Yeah,
Church?
yeah. It's
Right.
Great money. That's right.
Greater
So-
Imani Church, yes.
My mother always told me, a hard head makes a soft behind, right? So you can either listen to me or you can feel me.
Yeah.
Or
And so I'm
actions
not
speak
sure.
louder than words.
Right. So I'm not sure what it will take. But there was a Martin and there was a Malcolm, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they needed each other, right? And
Of
so
course.
maybe we can encourage people to listen to the Rons and the Daryls before folk go out on the bridge.
But channel some of I got you. You're listening to Funky Politics, powered by the Kazuki Network. We're visiting this evening with Wendi Thomas, independent journalist.
But I got to go back to the point, though, that, why is, excuse me, I know I'm going to be very politically incorrect.
Please
but why are we
Funky Politics.
Why are we still asking Massa for anything?
Wow.
I mean, it's like you're asking somebody to
Give you what's already yours.
To give you what's already yours.
Already yours.
It's the most mind blowing thing,
That's
and we're
nice.
trying to encourage people to be. It's like we're legislating common sense and humanity here. Okay, if you've got a segment of your population that represents 70%,
Yeah.
7 out of 10 people, and you're not trying to provide economic empowerment to that 7 out of 10 people, then you're basically committing suicide to your community, including you.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that we still have to do that, but it also blows my mind that 70% of the community is standing in line like the folks at IKEA or somewhere waiting to get in.
Oh, God.
Waiting to get
We wanna talk
something.
about that.
How can I get this contract? How can I get this? How can I? But where's the dealing with each other going to come in? Where is that going to happen? Where are people going to start doing things the way that they've always historically done it? Before Martin Luther King talked about economic empowerment in a city like Memphis, you had the Martin brothers, you had, Robert Church, you had Maceo Walker, you had a number of people. So, that was always there. That was a natural reflex. So why is it that we're not at that point to where we're dealing with each other? Is it a trust issue? Is it a capacity issue? Is it a common sense issue?
Or is it
or
that
lack of
we
common
don't think
sense
that we're
issue?
powerful enough to be able to,
Right.
to
I think that
command
might
these
be
things?
getting close to it.
You think so? That we
maybe
don't
not
think-
realizing our
Not
power.
realizing your own strength.
right
your own potential.
Right.
Yeah, basically
Right.
your power.
So if you don't do that, then basically what we're living is what we have now, which is a social apartheid right here in our own city.
It's a waiting for massa kind of thing, as you
That's
said.
what it is.
Politically
That's
incorrect.
what it is. We are Pretoria 2016.
Well, part of that is, and one of the things that happened in the community here in Memphis was that you had IKEA that came and they showed us all this nice, shiny new
Right.
furniture that we're going to get. We can put the modular stuff together. And when it came to turning that dirt out there,
Right.
there was not one major black
And there was
minority
no, and
contractor.
there was no requirement.
And there was
that
no
there be one.
requirement.
There was no concern.
So
about
how
it.
did that happen
Right.
in a city that
Right.
I think
you know,
I think we got to start understanding that it's bigger than just meeting a percentage goal. It's about developing a community and empowering everyone so that the community rises. That's really what it's about. Jokes aside, we could talk
Sure.
it all day long. You know, I'm almost, just spent with it all.
Yeah, blue in the face,
Yeah,
as we
but
say.
we've got to get to a point to where we just understand.
and nobody got
And
mad as
helping
hell enough and talked
and
about
helping
it.
everyone and all the boats rising, particularly African Americans with 70% of the population, is the right thing to do.
You are listening to Funky Politics, powered by the Kazukia Network. We're visiting this evening with Wendi Thomas, independent journalist and world-renowned, I would say,
Phenomenal woman.
phenomenal woman.
There you go.
And she's a journalistic guru.
You